Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Oh no,
Mm.
the
Oh,
turkey done hit the Joe Dog.
yeah. Turkey hadn't wore off yet. Thought it would be, but it didn't. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Stupid O'Clock. I guess we ought to call it Turkey Coma.
Mm. Well,
Oh,
Lindsay has found what we're going to get for turkey for ourselves from now on. It's a
what?
little 3 pound butterball turkey loaf, basically. It's just um, no bones about it, and she got it. It's cooked perfectly. She started thawing it out yesterday. Threw it in the oven today. Made gravy, made stuffing, made veggies, steamed veggies, mashed potatoes, gravy, and I'm going. You do realize all of this has to disappear before I go back to work. Thank God I've got 2 weeks off.
Uh,
Um,
oh, so you're taking a 2 week vacation?
uh, I wound up not taking very much vacation time this year, and I've got some that I either had to burn it or it's gone.
Use it or lose it.
Well, I would be allowed to sell it and just keep keep on working to the end of the year and not take the vacation time. Do get paid for it, but I am really trying to get a doctor's appointment about the nerve pain. So
Hmm.
I figured with days off, that'll probably work out much better than having to go back into work and fill out forms if I do manage to get an appointment. It's not looking good for actually being able to get in. It's the end of the year. Everybody's busy and taking their holidays. The clinics are short staffed, and about the best I may wind up doing is getting a video consult with one of the techs at the orthopedic clinic,
Hmm.
and hoping they can steer me into the right direction as to whether or not I actually need to see a doctor or physical therapy, or um, whether or not they actually need X-rays to find out what's going on. So,
X-rays don't, in situations like that, X-rays don't do anything but tell them if you broke your back or not. You
yeah,
need an
really, how?
MRI.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how you going to see a nerve on an X-ray. So yeah, um,
It
and
depends
I've
where
had
they're
it.
X-raying. If they're X-raying the spine, if they see any stenosis or anything like that, so any calcification inside the spinal column, which would be pressure upon the spinal cord, that can be seen through an X-ray. But more than
No,
likely, they're going to have to
for
do the
damage.
X-rays before the MRI.
Yeah, for damage due to shingles, I don't think there's going to be anything visible on my back.
Right.
It's just the blisters on my skin went sent tendrils down to the nerves, and it is what it is.
Hmm.
Um, I am happy to relate that either I'm managing it better or it's faded about 10-20%. It's not as bad as it was a month, maybe 2 months ago, but I'm sure if I stop taking my painkillers here, over the counter stuff, then I would definitely see that 10% go evaporate. So uh, got to get it seen to, otherwise I'm not going to be able to drive long distance anymore. So
That stinks.
yes, I know. It may be a blessing that we haven't been able to get a room for LibertyCon this year, so we may just be able to. I know we can roll our memberships over. Just call this year a wash, and try again next year, and that'll give me up until uh, next year's Halicon to get something worked out. Um, Driving up there for this year's,
Yeah.
not much of a problem. I could feel it, but it wasn't bad. Hey, Keisha.
You
Driving
should.
back was a special kind of torture.
Hmm.
It's all right. It was worth it. I'd do it all over again just to be able to be at Halicon. So
Alrighty. Well, uh, you don't take the freeway. Do you don't take the freeways because you don't like being on the freeways, or you just don't trust the vehicle?
um, I bypassed 285 because I don't trust anybody else on the road on 285. But I have no problem with any other road out there.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking we tried coming back down 575 till we got close enough to jump over to 85 north, and that worked out pretty well. I'm going to have to go through and get on the the GPS's map program and plot that one out in greater detail, because I did it was kind of just me reading the signs on the way back because it was not a crystal clear route. I just wrote some road numbers down where I thought the turns were, and there were a couple of them where evidently I had missed something somewhere and had to pull off the road and re-navigate a little bit. But I managed to get us home, and we managed to stay on 585 till we got down to where was it? Down to 92 somewhere, and then went through Roswell, and then got on 140 through Norcross, and right after Norcross we hit 85 North, and at that point I might as well be in my own backyard. I don't even need the GPS once I get on 85 North.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, I I actually use my phone to navigate now. I don't even use my GPS anymore.
Well, I paid a lot for the bugger. I'm going to use it. I didn't pay much for my phone. Oh,
Of course, what I like about the phone is it tells you when there's traffic.
mm,
Speed traps, you know,
Yeah.
tells you when what the speed limit is if you miss the posting.
Yeah.
mm. Yeah, I got that in the GPS, although new construction screws that up from time to time because that hasn't been updated.
Well,
GPS will be telling you it's 65 through here, and I go, I just passed a sign that says 45, or you get a ticket, boy.
Yeah,
yeah. We were coming back from Atlanta, one of the Atlanta conventions one time, and it popped up, get off on this exit. Why do I need to get off on this exit? I don't need to get off on this exit. So I keep going, and then traffic started backing up. I'm going, oh, that's why it wanted me to get off at that exit. It was going to take me around the traffic.
Oh, yep. It do that. It do that. Hello, Facebook user saying hello to me.
Yeah.
Uh, so there you go. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook and grant permission, and we will see who you are. And not in a nasty way. Just it'll tell us whatever name you picked out to let us have.
Oh, well, I'm sitting here looking, just, thinking this, we're doing a special sort of Thanksgiving, just laid back, chill show.
Uh-huh.
Uh, guess what happens during Santa Tracker this year?
I'm afraid to ask, what does happen during Santa Tracker this year?
11 o'clock, stupid o'clock.
Oh,
On a
that should
Saturday.
be fun. That should be fun.
pardon me.
Oh, yeah. Our usual route up through there, like we would go to LibertyCon, or like I went to Halicon the year before. Oh, 20 is nothing but construction right now. Pretty much from the time you get off of 85 South to the time you get off to get on 75, it's just wall to wall construction. My girlfriend,
Uh-oh.
that doesn't narrow it down very much, I'm sorry to say. If it's not my wife, I'm going to get worried.
Yeah.
Uh,
Especially since Lindsay's watching.
I don't know if she's watching or not. She's in the living room with her Roku, so I thought she was watching Britcoms or the shows of her British soaps that she's been getting behind on. But And thankfully she was able to take time out and get this marvelous Thanksgiving dinner done for us today. I mean, seriously, woman should give herself more credit for how good a cook she is.
Oh, you're talking about Roku. Uh, there are some good shows on the streaming apps right now. On Paramount Plus, it's called Tulsa King.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Sylvester Stallone, and his character just got out of federal prison for not rolling on the Don. He's a mobster,
Okay. Hey,
and
he got out alive.
yeah, and he they rewarded him by sending him to Tulsa to take over. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I
That
don't
must
know
be.
much about Oklahoma, except I know Tulsa has a reputation of being a very tough town.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gone in, and the first thing he's done is uh, just him and his cabbie from New York, or his cabbie from the airport, have gone in and taken over the pot shop, wanting 20% of the. He says all I want's 20%. He says I'll keep the feds off of you, and I'll keep the other gangs off of you, but I want you to hook me up with your supplier. And he's done gone and worked a deal with the supplier to where the guy's getting the pipe for damn near next to nothing.
Yeah, well, something's going to blow up somewhere, just for dramatic reasons, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, the guy that um, he did flip on turned around and flipped on somebody else and went into protective custody. He now is new identities in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and
God.
Stallone doesn't know he's there. So that
Well,
should
no
be
one
pretty
knows
good.
he's there. That's the idea, but I can see how things can go south from there.
And she said she was at HelloCon.
Mm-hmm.
So by saying HelloCon, I think that makes me think that's my wife. So you can have her, Dan.
Now
I'm
we'll see if
afraid
it
I've
really
run
is
out
Joe
of
Dog's wife
dependent
because she'll walk in
slots
and
on my
smack him.
income tax. I had to put in all those congressmen. I'm afraid I've run out of slots on my income tax sheet for dependents.
Uh,
Oh.
oh,
Oh, Carl's putting in a bid.
you can have her.
Oh, this is not supposed to be the auction channel.
Of course, I posted up years ago on Facebook. I said every time I look at my wife, I get butterflies in my stomach. My knees get all weak, and I get sort of queasy. Some people think it's love. Me, it's just actually fear.
Yep, that's perfectly reasonable. Ah, and Lindsay and I aren't poly, so I can't take another wife. Not even if it's somebody else's. No, I don't play that way.
And just think, you guys have never seen my wife mad.
Want a bit?
No,
I've seen.
you've not seen.
I've seen how she looks at you. I've seen her mad.
No. You've seen her getting mad. You've never seen her mad.
I've had enough ex-psychopaths in my time. Can I get an amen, Rich?
Hallelujah, brother. Hallelujah.
Not that there's anything wrong with Donna, but I am a one-woman man. And there is a complaints department, ladies. I'm sorry, just pick a number. We'll get to you in the order in which you made your call. Um, ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm just built that way. Uh, Probably one of the reasons why people think I'm a decent guy. I don't have the faintest idea how I come across giving that impression, but it's been the albatross around my neck for most of my life. Yes. Okay, that was either my wife or the dog learned to open the door. And usually the dog barges in and wants to be petted. The door got shut, so I'm assuming it's my wife.
Oh, I've been doing some straightening up in my office. Found something I can't use.
Looks like Smirnoff. Tequila. Well, there's a pain med that would do me some good right about now, but
And the thing was, I'm not a tequila drinker. I don't. It's the aftertaste of tequila.
yes. Yes.
You know, I describe it as it tastes like what a dirty sock smells like.
Uh-huh.
The night before my 24th birthday, a bunch of friends took me out for my 24th birthday. Apparently, I spent maybe $20 buying alcohol myself that night, and the bars and folks at the various bars for the rest of the evening paid for the other like $455 worth of alcohol I drank that night.
Obviously, take you out was the operative term.
And there was a lot of tequila involved because for the next 2 weeks, all I could taste was tequila. Every cigarette I smoked, every breath I took. So yeah, no, tequila and I are not friends.
Mm. Ah.
I'm gonna have to find that video and post it again. It's I labeled it actual convention bouncer talking about the alcohols. The beer, yeah, come on in, come on in, come on in. Whiskey shows up. All right, boys, just a few of you.
Jim Brewer.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yep.
Then tequila shows up, and the bartender goes, "Everybody out!" And he's talking about it going into your stomach.
Oh yeah.
So you've seen the skit before.
Oh yeah.
Got to go down the hall. I'll be right back.
All right.
Still got the headphones on, so I'll be able to hear anything you say. Everything you say will be used to get.
And I can unmute Dan's mic from here, so we'll just listen to what's going on. And he just see, Rich, you can't see what I see. I see saw Dan going, yeah. Oh. So, Rich, you said you had a little procedure. What did they do?
So I had two bone spurs. I had one on top and one in front in my rotator cuff. And those were causing pinching and tearing in my rotator cuff and the muscles in there. So I had they decided, well, we all figured it would be best to go ahead and have that removed. So that's what yesterday was. It's right at 7 a.m. and everything went actually on schedule for the first time of any of the procedures I've ever had in a medical facility ever. Everything actually went on, 7 o'clock. They had me back in the room to start getting, taking a look at, 9:30 they had me in the OR, where usually it's about an hour and a half after all of that, is when, for other procedures is when I was actually getting in and stuff like that. So I couldn't complain.
Ah. And Blake Wilson just said tag us in, and before the little notification sounds quit, he had a link, so he's probably figuring, how the hell did he do that? Oh, so we'll have a couple more people dropping in.
So, but thankfully, get the arm out of the sling here for a moment. So, prior to the procedure, I could probably get my arm to about there. Now I can get it to about here. Now, my doctor wants me to get to the point where I can actually do this with the bad arm for 5 minutes out of every hour. And if I can do that, he won't make me go to physical therapy. But if I can't do that within the next couple weeks, I will end up having to go to torture school.
I messed my shoulder up in a car wreck. I slapped myself in this ear with this hand from behind.
Oh,
Yeah,
not supposed to be anatomically possible, but
The
Joe,
joint's
you
not
always
supposed to do that.
Yeah, you always
Well-
do the strangest things.
Well, what happened is I had somebody pull out in front of me, so I just pretty much squared them. Squared them in the rear end, actually, and they got charged for the accident.
There's a Blake.
There's a Blake. Oh, it's Blake and Cherise.
All right. Hey.
But I got a bad habit of, I used to drive a truck, so you got one hand like this and the other hand down on the shifter. Well, when the airbag went off,
Oh,
the arm went up, around, and back.
Fortunate.
But it did it in a span of about,
Tenth of a second.
yeah.
All right, we're just gonna hop on for 1 second and say hi to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Wonderful
Merry
to
Thickmas.
see you.
Since we're not on, we don't have headsets or anything, and I'm holding this up. But yeah, just want to stop in and say hey.
We appreciate it.
We'll keep watching.
Yeah, we'll keep watching on the TV though. So.
Oh, Blake, I don't know if you saw December 10th. Are y'all able to make it down?
It's a possibility. I got to see if I can squeeze in a half a day off of work or something on Sunday.
All right. And
Spend the
Chris
night
is
there.
working up a deal so you don't have to drive all the way back home.
That'll work.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Calendar too.
Yep. All right. Nice seeing you guys.
All right. I'll at you later. It
Always
was nice
to
having
see
them drop in. Yeah, I don't ever want to repeat that experience. Because getting punched in the face with an airbag is not fun.
I would hazard a guess that getting punched in the face with anything is not fun. I do remember dodgeball in elementary school. Yes, thank you.
marshmallows. Being punched in the face with marshmallows are fun.
Depends on how fast they're moving. A marshmallow at Mach 6 is probably going to be painful, briefly.
A marshmallow at Mach 6, you're going to feel it before the marshmallow, gets in your time zone.
And it will be on fire when it hits.
And you'll be on fire afterwards.
Yes, indeed. You take my point exactly. Isn't knowing a little bit of physics fun?
Well, it depends on how far it's traveled that Mach 6.
I can think of two other things.
It may
Sorry.
get right to your face and just hit you with ash.
I can think of two other things that'd be fun to be hit in the face with.
I don't think my imagination
Oh,
is
this
going to have
isn't
to
the
work very
green
hard
room.
on that one.
This isn't the green room.
All I have to say is I'm a very happily married man.
Oh. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Y'all have a good night.
I was just going, where'd we put that good night, everybody thing? But I'm still in the chat, so. Oh. Now Carl's doing the hashtags.
Hashtags.
This does not bode well.
Oh.
Thanks, Dan.
Left till.
So they sent me home from the hospital yesterday with it's called a polar care cube. Basically, it's like a little igloo cooler type thing, but it's got a water pump in it. The lid's a water pump, and then you could put 4 water bottles that you freeze around, put some water in there, and then it pumps basically ice water in a cooling pack around the shoulder. So that is cool, as no pun intended, as all get out.
Now, if
Probably
you
use
ever
some-
camped, what you could do is take that, and I used a heater core from a radiator from a car. Had a good heater core, filled it up with water and all that, and ice water, and put a fan on one side of it, ran it up into the camper. It was a tent camper, kept that thing outside. I had air conditioning.
Oh yeah, like a swamp cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was pumping that cool water through, and I had the fan.
Definitely. There are all kinds of things that redneck engineering can accomplish.
Oh, yeah. Of course, my niece was at the Thanksgiving today, and she said her friend came down, moved down from up north, and they all came over for dinner, and she goes, mashed potatoes? Why do we have mashed potatoes in July? That's Thanksgiving food. She said, she told her, she said, honey, this is the South. Mashed potatoes are 3 times a week meal.
I was going to say, how far north is it? Because, I mean, Indiana, northwest Indiana, is fairly north at that, and it's mashed potatoes is, oh, hey, it's 2:00,
Well, this girl was from the Northeast.
Ah,
Where they can't grow potatoes.
somewhere up there where they believe in quinoa.
Why can't they grow potatoes in the Northeast?
Ground's too rocky.
Oh, okay. Yep. I take the point. It was very difficult to grow potatoes in East Tennessee because of all the limestone in the soil, and not the lime content, but the rocks themselves. You're exactly right.
And the chert.
although uh, there was a limestone gravel quarry that was one of the big employers in the area there where my mom and dad grew up. They had huge piles of limestone gravel that was used in railroad construction as the rock around the railroad ties, stuff like that. Some of those things were like piles 8 stories tall,
Yeah.
and I'm serious. They sat there for years. You, if I could have only climbed those things, I could have had every cedar tree I wanted, because cedar trees would grow in a pile of limestone rock,
Yep.
with the nearest dirt being 80 to 100 feet below, and grew really, really well. And I like cedar trees. A lot of people don't, but I do. I think they're quite pretty and they smell good.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mr. Pica. We
Mr.
appreciate you
Pica.
dropping in and saying hello.
Mary, thank you, Miss Johnny.
Oh,
Did your magician's duty and made the turkey and stuff and disappear? I take it.
That's one vanishing trick I'm quite happy to perform myself.
I didn't eat any turkey this year. The ham was too good.
Uh, Make me a believer in the Tommy knockers. If you'll remember, Mr. Pica, I was the one offering hints to you.
All right, I need to
uh,
put my glasses on. I read that as Tammy knockers.
well, no, yeah,
Completely different show. Completely different show.
I know a few ladies named Tammy, and I believe in them quite strongly. Um, no, no. What I do know is a lot of well, I hesitate to say popular mythology, but classical mythology and different. Um, I guess I can call them civilizations because they were wide areas of influence. Greek, Roman, Chinese, Egyptian, that sort of thing. Grew up with access to lots and lots of folk tales and um, fairy tales and things like that. My reading was wide and varied and quite extensive over the years. So when they were talking about Tommy Knockers in Cryptid Crunch, I was going, okay, yeah, it sounds like kobolds to me. And I believe that's Germanic, but it could be even older than that. So I don't know. Um,
Cobalts, generally. Kobolds were usually the surface dwelling cousins, where the kobolds were the miners, and those are the ones you didn't want to have around. The ones that
hmm,
lived in the mines were the nasty ones. The
yeah.
ones that
uh,
lived in the houses and on ships were the good folk.
mm, and that since we were talking about events happening in mines and tunnels and um, under city tunnels of various sorts, it would have been the bad tempered ones that were the subject of discussion. But thank you, Rich. I didn't know there was a distinction. I did not
Yeah,
know there were two different names for their
Germanic.
temperament.
Um, you know, other than werewolves, the other of my favorite studies is Germanic supernatural lore.
Now, see, John, if you'd be nice, you could have different experts kind of in your audience going, hey, have you heard of this? Give Rich an invitation to show up. Well, you got the invitation to show up whenever they talk about werewolves. I know that one for a fact already. Maybe you should email them your CV. So they know exactly when to drop you in as the resident expert on this, that, or the other thing.
I wouldn't say resident expert, resident enthusiast. Way too many different hobbies and pursuits to really be an expert in anything.
Oh yeah, I can understand that too. I can carry on a conversation with a lot of different people on a lot of different subjects, but I would not want to be considered an expert on any of them. I'm just a dilettante.
I'm an expert on something.
Yep,
Ignorance.
wasn't quite what I thought you were going to say, but
Means I'm an expert about knowing nothing.
I believe we got a bill sighting.
Yeah.
The bill is due.
Yeah, you want to push the button.
You know what? I take it back. I am an expert on ignorant folks.
Yeah, John, I am an expert in that.
Joe,
What?
surely you did not aggravate your wife.
Yes, he does, and don't call him Shirley.
That's his middle name, though.
My mom hated that joke in Airplane.
Yeah, I imagine so. I imagine so. Every woman I've known named Shirley hates that joke. Sullivan, yeah, thank you. Just a little something I threw together. Literally.
Oh, have you seen the videos out now of the Doctor transformation?
I've actually seen the episode, yes.
I know those teeth.
Wait, I know these teeth.
What?
No.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. There should be 4 specials in the upcoming year, and then sometime late 2023 or early 2024 we get the transition to Shooty Gatwa.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to seeing everything, and next year will be the 60th.
Yeah.
2023. So they've already got big stuff planned, and some of it already filmed.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: have you seen the new companion?
Yes, I have.
She looks like a cross between Billy Piper and Jenna Coleman.
Yep. And there is
something
Jenna
about Coleman.
Is something about her character's name that is leading to rampant speculation in the Plot Bunny world. So we shall see if there's something.
She's Rose's kid.
No. Well, at the moment, anything is possible.
Is there a maple leaf involved?
This is not the green room, Bill. Don't get me thinking in that direction.
Opened up the book, and there was the leaf.
It's a fig leaf, Dan, not a maple leaf.
Fig leaves are bigger.
Yeah.
No. Oh, but there is a girl named Rose that will be in the show. The character's name is Rose, but she will be Donna's daughter, not Rose Tyler, but perhaps named after Rose Tyler. So, there are things going on.
Yeah, I was watching something that they were talking about that scene between Donna and the doctor where they were miming through the windows. All ad lib.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. That's two very capable actors
Yeah.
with wild senses of humor they could play well off of each other at the drop of a hat. Just give them an excuse. He'll give them half an excuse. They'll make something up.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, I ain't got no alarms
Rich,
going off. I'm on vacation.
Rich is playing his organ. He's rehearsing for the baseball game. Dun 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 dun.
It might be time for Rich to take another couple of pain meds. Oh, he hasn't been to the pharmacy yet, so they can do with over the counter.
Okay, so I haven't watched Doctor Who in a while since the last male Doctor. Is the Doctor currently still the female Doctor?
Nope.
Just
She-
regenerated.
She just
She
started
regenerated
to say
already?
transition, but that's a totally different thing.
Okay, so I'm what? How
Yeah.
many seasons behind that?
Yeah, the new Doctor is David Tennant.
Again.
Oh, him again.
You shouldn't have thrown the again. I was having too much fun blowing Bill's mind. You could see the gears going.
It's a time travel show. I mean, seriously. Oh, my mom.
Well, I knew he had something to do with the, what was it, the last special or whatever and all that, but I purposely not been watching it because I want to catch up on the regular season.
You've got the best part of 14 months before there's another regular season. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
and have you heard about the? I don't know if it was a purchase or a merger or some type of agreement. Guess who has the rights to broadcast Doctor Who in the United States now?
Disney Plus. Sadly, it's not any of the older stuff. It's just from the 60th anniversary stuff on.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'll still get to be able to watch the 60th anniversary stuff without having to purchase HBO Max.
Yeah.
Isn't that out on DVD already?
The 60th anniversary stuff?
Oh.
That's
The
the
last
stuff that's
one.
coming out.
No, not the one that's yet to come out, but just the previous.
I've got the 50th,
The most recent previous, I guess.
I've
is
got
what
the
you said.
50th anniversary on one of my little hard drives over here. That is the first airing commercial free. With, and if you don't remember, they did a 13-second countdown, and each second was one of the doctors. I've got that on it.
The first run of the 50th anniversary, I was on call that weekend. And halfway through the episode, I got a call. So I had to run back to my house, take care of that, and then come back, and I'm like, great, missed, half the damn episode.
You didn't DVR it?
I didn't have cable at that point in time, and my brother-in-law did not DVR it, no. But they ran it right afterwards, so I just sat there and watched it afterwards. So.
Yeah, but you had to watch it through with commercials. So this is commercial free, uninterrupted, which is pretty damn cool.
yeah, that's the way I like it.
So when's Matt Smith going to be a doctor again?
It's in negotiations. Hey, they've got the 60th anniversary coming up in 2023. There ain't no telling what stops they will pull out. They're pulling out a bunch right now.
Well,
So,
you know what you can believe and
yes.
what you can believe and what you can't believe on the internet. I've been seeing a few things the last couple weeks, and I don't know that I want to believe it or not. I know what I want.
I was so glad to see so many of the classic era doctors in that one scene. Uh, it's very nice, and there have been talks about how to um, add to the number of people who would be able to play the actors who are sadly beyond the pale right now.
They'll just
So
computer generate them.
no, 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 this is even better. This, no, this is even better. There has been a photograph of Sean Pertwee dressed up in his dad's Doctor Who costume with the wig.
I was about ready to say I would love to see
That
Sean come and
and he looks
just like his dad.
almost exactly. There's maybe a couple of things that would be different, but you got to use an electron microscope to find them.
Oh, he was actually approached for it and turned it down. He goes,
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
well, he may eventually change his mind. One of Troughton's boys, one of Troughton's two sons, looks a great deal like Patrick. And naturally, they would know their father's mannerisms better than anyone else around. And there is
It
also the actor who was portraying him in the last few scenes of Adventure in Space and Time, the actual sort of biography of the show itself
Mhm.
that came on. That was a very good show. If you haven't seen that, highly recommend it.
uh
beautiful, beautiful show.
Do you not think
what
though that
was
some of the? Oh, go
was
ahead, Joe.
Troughton the one that passed away at a convention?
Yep, in South Georgia. Yep,
Yep.
I was almost there. I did not find out about it in time to get a membership or hotel room. Otherwise, I would have been there. I had friends there. I have an autographed photograph from that convention he signed, I think, the day before he passed away.
Yeah, one of the people we know was actually involved in trying to keep everything quiet during the early first few hours of it happening.
Hmm. Uh, okay, I have a guess as to who it could have been, but
I
would have
will
been just
say I will say she, but you're more acquainted with her husband.
ah.
Do you know who that is?
Yep. That narrows it down just a little. Yep. And it was totally different from what I was thinking. So, uh, and we managed not to name any names.
So,
That's quite
so,
That
unlike us. But
so John F. Kennedy and not Jacqueline. That's who you're
uh,
saying. Okay.
and Carl goes freaking Disney. I hope BBC still does it. Nope. BBC America lost the rights to Doctor Who in the United States.
Disney will take over the world,
Yep.
Carl.
But the
and
thing
you,
is, if Disney's
Well,
throwing money into it,
is.
yeah, if Disney's throwing money at it,
And
there's
Carl,
no
don't piss off
limit
the
to the amount
mouse.
of things we could see.
Remember what happened to Eric Hawkins?
Hmm.
Nobody's heard from him again. Poor guy.
is it the Eric Hawkins or just Eric Hawkins? Because I think there's two of them, isn't there?
The artist. the one that we all know.
Oh,
And I say this jokingly. I'm not starting some vast rumor that Disney stormtroopers went and knocked him down and drug him off into some cell underneath Walt Disney World, which very well might have happened, but anyway, it didn't.
Dan, do you remember it floated around conventions for a while? The picture that's an artist, his own own artist of all the Disney characters as Star Wars characters, This was long before Disney got Star Wars.
Mhm.
I vaguely remember it. Yes.
Okay. Friend of mine is best friends with this dude. He got a cease and desist on the poster.
Oh,
Years later, he's interviewing for something in Eisner's office, hanging on the
copy of the
wall.
poster on the wall.
Yeah.
You want me to autograph that for you?
Hold on a minute.
I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. Oh,
Yeah, I think, well, Eric used to talk about it a lot on Never Mind the Furthermore. We used to tease him about it for quite a while, but he did. You know, you think that companies like Disney and that don't go after small timers like us. They do, and they did.
Oh,
And
they went
and
after a
Eric,
preschool in Florida.
oh yeah, well yeah, uh, pictures on a wall, I believe is what you're referring to, isn't it, Rich?
I think so. It's someone had painted a mural.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
Be back in a
or
few minutes.
a preschool, and Disney went hardcore after them. I'm like, holy cow!
well, that's
Talk
the
about
thing.
pissing off your demographic.
Well, yeah, but then again, if you don't protect your copyright vigorously, eventually somebody's going to use that in court to go, "Hey, you didn't go after these guys. It's public domain now."
Well,
So yeah,
you
if anybody with half a brain would read some of my short stories, I might get a C&D from Disney. Not that any name or likeness was used, a name in a script or a likeness in an illustration. Just the general description of the characters was enough for the readers to know who I was talking about.
if it's close enough, or if you use a certain phrase that
Nope. Just
might be close enough to a popular phrase of theirs.
nope. I danced around that one.
Yeah.
I'm very good at dancing on the edge of a sword blade. So no, it was just enough for the readers to know exactly what was going on without traipsing into any kind of copyright infringement whatsoever. So
Now, like I was talking last week about, well, I was telling you about selling on eBay, and you get into that. It's Vero, VERO.com, and it'll tell you all the different things that you cannot sell on eBay. And I, of course, brought up any Harley Davidson related stuff, which, of course, a lot of people buy. And you cannot legally sell that on there. And there's a list a mile long. Now, however, one of the things you can sell is Disney related items or Disney items in itself. I have quite a few on my eBay, and yes, they're good sellers. And that how they let you, because you already paid them, I guess.
You bought it legally. Disney got their cut. You can resell your property legally. Don't know why that doesn't apply to Harley Davidson, but don't know. There's probably a loophole there somewhere, but I don't know. I don't
probably
own
because they
anything.
choose not to. Because you can sell Harley stuff on other platforms.
Well, that's true. There could be just an eBay policy rather than a Harley Davidson policy.
Yeah.
Don't know. Doesn't apply to me. I don't sell anything on eBay.
Either that or somewhere along the chain, someone in eBay pissed off someone at Harley, and Harley's like, nope.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, Laura's been selling for over 20 years, and she said you were never able to sell from day one from them. Now, the thing is that there's such loosely structured legal mumbo jumbo when it comes to some of that. And so me as an artist, I have to watch certain things I do as far as things that I draw and can sell. So, you know, I had to enlist a very well-known lawyer friend who was originally from the Danville area and has since moved to California. And I get nice little useful information that keeps me here and, you know, out of prison or dead or anything else. But, you know, like, even though we were joking about the thing with Eric and that, you know, some things like that will put a big scare into you because of that. Whether you're an artist or a writer or anything like that. I mean, even doing, you know, the podcast is the same thing.
Carl points out something that I never even thought of before. Yeah, it's possible somebody on the board owns stock in both companies. The sale of one item might not be allowed by law. Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yep. That's certainly possible in today's litigious world.
Yeah.
That very likely.
Yeah. If I want to buy stock, I have to sit down and go through a couple 100-page list of things to make sure that I'm not buying stock in certain items being employed by the law firm that I work for.
Yep.
Because then it could be considered insider trading.
Yep.
Yeah. And
get you in trouble.
Definitely
we were talking about well, I mean, and it's no different than somebody purposely cooking the books and getting in trouble for something. Yes, if Rich bought something that, like what he just said, and got into, you know, the whole stock thing, got into trouble. I mean, there's how many people unknowingly got into trouble over such things. I just, you know.
Yeah, we have 3 different emails daily, 7 days a week, about different conflicts of interest things, you know, because, you know, this attorney and this paralegal and this LEA can't work on these matters because, you know, they did something for this client at some other point in time and stuff like that. So yeah, conflicts is a major thing.
Well, it'd be like when Michael Jordan was affiliated with Nike. If all of a sudden he came out and said, hey, I'm not going to own Nike anymore because I think the way they were made by certain means that he believed would be immoral and illegal in this country and all that. And then they all of a sudden said, whoa, wait a minute, you know. Now, him believing that and telling somebody one-on-one or whatever, and that's his God-given right, or that's his right as being free speech, you know, for living in America. But to publicly say something while he was, and it might be even now, even though he's no longer affiliated with Nike, that he cannot really say anything against it. That the contracts that he signed way back
Oh yeah.
when he started doing that, and they started making buku millions by selling out Air Jordans and all that, but
Al Kabong, is that you?
hey, Bubba Louie.
Oh, sorry about that, John.
Oh, quick straw.
Too many conversations. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, got a text from my niece who is doing animation as part of her art school projects. I found a way to send her the 30-second clip from the intro animation to Mike Jimmy's Life on Korra, and she showed it to my mother. So my mom got to hear a little piece of music that I wrote, and she's very pleased. Mom was also a character in the latest animation that my niece did for her schoolwork. So one of these days, Mom gonna be.
Where does she go to school, Dan?
She's going to an art school in Savannah at the moment.
Okay, cool.
She hopes to be hired by Disney once she graduates. So she's definitely good enough.
So she wants to be an Imagineer?
Yep. She is working with that as one of her goals. So if it happens, that's wonderful. If it doesn't, she has other options.
There's a lot of, maybe not well known, but a lot of animation companies out there looking for people like her, I'm sure. I know everybody would love to say, oh yeah, I want to be part of Pixar or something, but
Yeah. Well, the possibilities are not as endless as they used to be, but there are still quite a lot of possibilities. So,
I'm going to interrupt for just a second for Carl. Sweet potato pie.
I was guessing crow, but
being a half hour late, I just missed out on something, I guess.
My dad finally let the kids go through Mom's recipes.
oh, the top secret stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are in code.
Oh. Yeah, I wish my mom would write hers down, but there wouldn't be any measurements.
Well,
it's that fine Southern tradition of till your ancestors tell you that's enough.
no, he wanted Mom to write we all did wanted Mom to write these recipes down for when she's gonna still have them. She wrote them all down, but wrote them in code.
Is this a cipher or? I mean, is it a code that can be broken, or is it something that you have to know the family to be able to get to work out?
We don't know.
Only with a secret decoder ring.
She's changed the names
more
of stuff.
Ovaltine.
Yeah. She's changed the name of stuff.
Okay. Well, at least there is a possibility you may yet find the Rosetta Stone to decipher it.
Yeah, decoded mom's stuffing recipe this morning. Yet again.
Yet again.
I make it a couple times a year just because, and it's my favorite piece of what Mom used to make. That was from scratch.
Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. It's a family code. You got to know the family in order to figure it out.
And what is she meaning by teaspoons? Teaspoons of what? Triple X or double X?
Which teaspoons? The big ones or the little ones or? Yep. Was it what I call a teaspoon? Is what the
actual
calls a
measuring
teaspoon
spoon,
or the actual
or
measurement
what
of
you
a
use
teaspoon?
to stir, your tea with.
Yeah.
Well,
my wife stirs her tea with a little teeny tiny spoon, like a baby spoon almost. But the one that says teaspoon on the set of measuring cups is far larger. So we shall see.
well, my grandmother never used measurements. It
Yep.
was, she did it so many times, she never did after a while. So when she taught me how to make something, she had to go back and look to see what it originally was, because she was telling me, just grab some of this and throw it in there.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that looks about right.
Yeah. You know how
Oh,
much
no, I would never get it that right.
you know
Oh,
how
Billy,
much
that's too much.
you know how much flour is supposed to cover the bottom of the bowl. You know how much space 2 eggs takes up. You can tell by the weight of the milk when you pick it up how much you've got to pour in. You know exactly how much should be left, and just a pinch of salt. Uh,
You knew my
I
mom.
called.
I do know.
Uh,
I do know exactly. I do know.
Yeah, and Sarah knows. She just put it out there. We were talking yesterday on the phone, and she was saying that she wished she had my grandmother's recipe for bullet bread, which you put the batter in a little, like a Green Giant Niblets can, and put it on a cookie sheet in there, so that when it baked in the oven and it rose, it made a shape of a bullet. But it was a certain bread recipe that my grandmother used, and I never. If my brother was still alive, I'm sure he would be able to tell her. And then I was talking about a certain fudge that she would make. She would make all kinds of different fudges and divinity and stuff for Christmas to give to everybody. Tell us to save our Cool Whip containers all year long and give them to her, and we get them back full of goodies. And this one fudge, she did chocolate and peanut butter and all this stuff, but she did a fudge that she called 6-pound loaf. And you think, well, that sounds like bread, but actually it's a brown sugar fudge, and it's real heavy. It's super, super rich. And I believed it had chopped up pecans or walnuts in it. I forget which, but one of them, real fine. But it's a brown sugar fudge that is just wonderful, but you can only eat just a little bit of it.
It's going
Or
a little dab will do you.
Oh
Yep.
my God, you'll die otherwise.
I found a recipe for pinto bean cake and pinto bean fudge, and Donna says, "Oh hell no."
And I thought Joe was just telling one of his jokes when I seen him post that.
Oh no.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
From B. Dylan Hollis. There's a young gentleman on YouTube and TikTok, B. Dylan Hollis, who goes back to a lot of these old recipes that you find in Depression era cookbooks and stuff like that, and his commentary while making them is hilarious. Use a suitable amount of lard. There is no suitable amount of lard.
Yes, there is, depending on what
What's
you're
his
making.
name?
His name is B. Dylan Hollis.
Yes.
And
That's how I found
is
out
it
about.
store-bought lard or is it homemade?
Yeah.
That's how I found out about the pinto bean cake.
Yep.
Because shortly after I saw his thing about pinto bean cake, I saw you post about it, and I'm like, I wonder if it's Dylan's. But
The
yeah,
universe is exactly that small.
it's his commentary is hilarious, and the look on his face when things work out and they shouldn't, because he's like, this should be a crime against humanity.
It's like,
Yeah,
Hey,
the two things that you do not associate together.
now, I made a comment on Legends of the Traveling TARDIS this week when they were doing their Thanksgiving foodie show Tuesday night. And they were going on about this recipe and that recipe. And I pointed out, well, I spent my childhood in East Tennessee, or half of my childhood in East Tennessee, another half in Northeast Georgia. I grew up used to cooking as it was taught from family member to family member from the 1920s to the Great Depression to the 30s to the 40s to the 50s on up. And when you have a holiday feast prepared by half a dozen ladies who began cooking during the Great Depression, and this is the 1970s, and they've had plenty of time to practice and
I was
huge
watching.
families to practice on.
I was watching something the other day, and this guy was sitting with his dad. Dad was a man, and he goes, "I can't believe you just paid $20 for a dandelion salad." They were out in California. He
Oh,
goes, "Yeah, it's a delicacy out here." He said, "I ate this shit during the Depression. We ate it to survive."
ain't no delicacy.
Made wine out of it.
Oh yeah,
And the
yep.
the
Ray
damn
Bradbury, dandelion wine. Got the entire recipe in one of the books.
Mhm.
Uh oh,
there was another YouTube video that I found. This lady kept getting in trouble with the local park department because she would go in and pick all the dandelion caps to make dandelion wine.
Mhm.
and how did the fire department get called in?
Yeah.
Did I'm assuming there was some kind of a still involved here somewhere.
Oh,
And
puts
another
me
thing,
in.
now, Dan, I'll tell you something. You've probably ate that these two down here have never heard of. They may have heard of it, but they've never had it. Polk salad.
Yep. You
I
got to
knew a
pick it
girl named Annie that made it.
you got to pick it really young though. You can't let it get too mature, otherwise it is no longer fit for human consumption.
It's no longer fit for survival.
I
Well, yeah, it does get rather toxic once it gets of a certain age, and that age is not very old. You got to get the young stuff.
But the good thing about dandelion salad, or poke salad,
poke salad.
it's a springtime thing. It helps in spring cleaning, let's say.
hmm,
Yep.
Plenty of roughage to move things along.
Uh, well, let's just say part of the dandelion is a laxative. That's why
not
you
the part.
can't. That's why you
not the
can't.
part you want in your salad, but
It's
try telling somebody from California that.
well the poke salad is selective, and that's why it becomes so toxic. It'll give you so much after so long and has so much laxative in it, you'll literally shit yourself to death.
Now, I have also been on the side of a spring where I could see the water come out of a hole in the ground running downhill. There is watercress growing in the spring. It is absolutely pure, ice cold water. And here's wild watercress. That made a wonderful salad. There are even periwinkles on some of the rocks. And Daddy was going, "Oh, well, I've got a pen. I could winkle some of those out for you." And I go, "Daddy, sorry, snails are just snails. I don't care what they're shaped like. We don't need that. We'll get you some oysters on the way home. We got
I'll
hot sauce.
tell you,
You'll love it."
the southern country folk, when the world goes to shit, the southern country folk ain't gonna starve to death.
But they're
What
going to be the first ones to shit.
what was
Eat
it
the
in
poke salad.
that episode of Gomer Pyle? Gomer and the Sarge were on a survival training. At the end of it, the weigh in, everybody else had lost 5, 10, 15 pounds. Gomer and the Sarge had gained almost
Saw that.
7 pounds.
How the hell did you do that? Hey,
Oh,
what
come on now. I let Gomer catch the rabbits. That's what it was.
So they make, okay, I'm very much aware of poke salad and I don't care for it. I've had it before. But they make all kinds because people won't just eat poke salad. It's got to be something mixed in with it. And I'll give you another one that probably some people may like, but I still would not. Tuna poke salad. I mean, they make every variation of poke salad that you can imagine. And I've had dandelion wine before in the past, and I'll say it's not that it's an acquired taste or anything. It just, I didn't think what one thing or the other of it, but
the dandelion flour also makes a good dip. Chicken gum dip. I mean, I've done it. Of course, I quit after that piss ant stung me on the inside of the lip. It's so
Yeah,
at least it wasn't a fire ant.
At least you didn't have to worry about that wildwood weed.
Exactly, Donna. Exactly.
I don't think it needs bacon grease or any kind of grease, really.
You'll make your up in bacon grease, yeah.
Donna, you'll make your own grease.
No. You gotta. Well, I mean, it depends on how you're gonna do it. I mean, this is not something that you're gonna put ranch dressing on.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Now, I thought about becoming vegan till I found out you can't use bacon grease in your stir fry.
Yeah, I had Thanksgiving tonight, and of course, my little sister Jenny is a vegan. So when I went and got my coffee, I said no almond milk, and she did have some 2% there because of her husband, who is not vegan, but she is, and my niece is kind of. But I did have to deal with the raw sugar. And I said, "Do you have any sugar?" And she hands me a bowl, and I said, "No, I don't want a bowl of sand. I want some sugar," which it'll sweeten stuff up, but it's not quite the same. But Joe, have you ever heard of lava salt as far as something vegan or vegetarian?
I've heard of Himalayan pink salt.
Okay. And I didn't try it with what I was eating tonight. I actually, and I'll use sea salt on certain things, but the Morton, the real small, thin, fine stuff, I will. But she called this lava salt, and I've never heard it in my life. And quite frankly, I was scared. So I chickened out this time, and I might try it sometime. I'm not against anything vegan, and that I am a vegetarian myself, although if I could eat bacon, I still would. But there's a lot of things that she has made in the past that I think, oh, this is pretty good. And then I've had some other things that tasted like several ingredients were missing.
Oh, yeah.
But all in all, it went well. And my niece Kayla made brownies tonight, and I'll say that now when Dan's not in here. Otherwise, I'll be getting jokes about special brownies. But she did real well with that. So we did well tonight. Everything, and their dad loves Columbo, so we tuned in on the Freezy or Freeze or whatever that live stream is named. They had all. Is it Freezy?
Free V.
Oh, Free V. Okay. But I guess like free TV, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to be IMDb TV.
Oh, okay.
They just rebranded.
Well, we got to watch the very first Columbo movie, Prescription Murder, from 1968.
They rebranded after Amazon bought them. They're part of Amazon Prime now.
No wonder I keep getting ads for the darn thing.
Yep.
Well, they have Dish over there, and I know he has several other subscriptions to Netflix and different things, and it just showed up on what we were looking for some that apparently ran out or whatever, that they couldn't get on there for Jenny and Laura's dad, and then they found it through that freebie. And it was the first time I ever heard of it, but it looked like they had a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, you said Netflix. That reminds me, the new Wednesday Addams series got released yesterday.
Oh.
The premise of the story is Wednesday's about 14 or 15. She's gotten so much trouble at schools, they send her to a private school that caters in the otter type people, and it's more like Hogwarts. There's the fangs, the furries, the scales, and the artists.
Okay.
And she's an artist.
Yeah, she's sort of fell into the artist side. Fangs are vampires. Furries are the werewolves. Scales are sirens.
Oh. Not to be confused with sirens.
Yeah, sirens what's on the fire truck.
Yeah, that's right. I hate it when I hear a siren go off. And just imagine how uncomfortable a phone would be if this guy's name had been Alexander Graham Siren. Got to do something about that ringtone.
Hey, can you imagine? And now think about this. The first phone call ever made was a boss calling his employee to do something for him. Bell spilled some acid on himself, called Watson to come here and bring me something to clean this up.
Watson, come quickly. I need you.
Mhm.
Yeah. The first phone call was the boss.
Not the green room.
I knew that as soon as I saw the light bulb go off over your head. That little animation effect you had going off there, that's wonderful.
The bell room.
Oh, Carl, it's not going downhill. We've never gotten up the hill yet. We're still in the flatlands.
No, he's talking about what I'm talking about. It says it went downhill from there.
Oh, the phone.
Yeah. Well, if you don't remember, phones kept shrinking in size, shrinking in size, shrinking in size, shrinking
And
in
I
size.
know exactly when it was they started getting bigger again.
When they found out you could get porn from the internet on the phone. It kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And what do they say when you watch porn? You go blind. And that's the other reason why it got bigger. Couldn't
No,
see
it's
it
not
on the
from
little
watching
flip
it.
phones.
It's from what happens when you watch it.
Can I stop when I need glasses?
I don't know. Can you?
Yeah, Carl, that's actually true. He wanted to say ahoy when you picked up the phone instead of hello. Of course, now I answer the phone, what?
I just look at it and go, you know better. Hang up. Got the answering machine over here, tells me who called, and I go, if it ain't Mama,
How retro is that, what Dan just said, looking at the answering machine?
hey, it's
Mom's
digital
dying
now.
day.
It's
Oh.
digital now, but it's still an answering machine.
I got to tell you something that's retro, and I don't know maybe if Carl sold this, because I don't think it was a Radio Shack item, but I'm not sure. I saw this classic advertisement. It was from 1972 for the very first video game system called Odyssey. And
Magnavox Odyssey.
yeah, okay, Magnavox. Yeah, that's what it was. And do you remember what you had to do, Joe Dog, to play the different games?
Yeah, you had to put those little things on the TV screen that stuck to the static.
The little film thing. And your TV, it didn't matter whether it was black or white and or color, but it had to be, and I only know this because of just watching this commercial. I'm going to have to find it and post it in Stupid O'Clock. Your TV had to have an 18-inch screen or larger. So that left so many people out, myself included, back in the day. And there was you had a thing that you hooked up to the back of it. The actual Magnavox Odyssey, the actual unit itself, ran on batteries of all things. It did not plug in.
D-cells.
I do remember it had different game chips, which is basically, it was a cartridge game before cartridge games came out.
Right. Yeah. It was like a looked like a floppy disk or whatever, but smaller.
There was one cartridge game system when the game didn't work right. You had to unplug it and blow into the cartridge to get the dust out of the way or something.
Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a ham.
The Radio Shack version of that with the TRS-80, you didn't blow the dust off the contact. You turned it upside down to where you could see the contacts, and you took a number 2 pencil and erased the tarnish off the brass contacts. Plugged it back in. Good for another 2 or 3 months till the brass tarnished again, or copper, as it may have been.
And believe it or not, you were not actually blowing dust off of it. The moisture from your breath made the contact.
Ah, that would explain why it works so much better for college students after a night of heavy drinking. So much vodka on their breath, it did clean the contacts. Oh dear. Now we're going downhill, Carl.
It just cracked me up when I watched that commercial because it said, play tennis, and you put the screen on there. Hey, Joe. And, it was basically you were playing Pong each time. But, with the different, and then there was one for football, and there was another one called Haunted House that you put the screen on there that shows a haunted house, and I guess the lights would show the different lights in the windows or whatever. And I remember one of our neighbors actually having that there because they had everything at the time.
We had one when I was
75. We had the Intellivision.
Yeah.
We had one when I remember having one when I was a kid. My brother played it so much, my dad took it away from him and said, you keep playing this thing, you're going to rot your brain. And that was in the early 70s.
Yeah. Well, what year did Pong come out? Now that was.
Oh, that was in the
before though, wasn't it?
That was in a little 4-game console that we had when I was a child back in the.
The Intellivision was out in like at least 75 because we had one in 75.
Yep.
Okay, so Magnavox was out earlier then.
Hey,
the arcade game preceded the home game. Was released November 29th, 1972. Holy shit,
Yep.
Pong is 50 years old.
Yep.
Well, I take that back. Pong will be 50 years old Tuesday.
Wow.
Wow.
In this commercial for the Magnavox Odyssey, it said they kind of made a comment about saying usually how TV would control you about what it would have on TV. And of course you had a limited number of channels back in the day too. And then it said, now you can control the TV. And it talked about, setting the channel to a certain unused UHF channel to operate the game. And I'm thinking kids these days probably wouldn't think, what's UHF? Other than a Weird Al movie.
Yeah, well, back in the day, we were the remote controls, were we not?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, the kids were. Yep.
I said back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, back in the day for you was the Gettysburg Address, I'm sure, but for the rest of us younger.
Well, my forefathers made me go up and change the channel too, so.
Yep. I remember Captain Kangaroo had the only TV in the world with the channel 1.
And not to get off the subject, but just since you mentioned the Gettysburg Address, that thing that I put on there the other day, oh my God, did that take me so long to get all that together. And believe me, this is not a patting myself on the back. This is getting about the 4th or 5th paragraph into it thinking, why in the frickin' hell am I doing this? Other than the fact that, and I don't even claim to be a Civil War historian. I'm a Civil War enthusiast and that who knows some history, but I'm not a historian by a long shot. I'm not a Shelby Foote. As much as I loved his books.
Oh, I wound up watching the new episodes of the uh, boat, the narrowboat vloggers that I subscribed to today, and there were very few people had updates. So I was looking around YouTube for something else to watch because it was only like 3 in the afternoon. And here was an episode of the History Channel, which used to be good back in the day, but now it might as well be the Ancient Aliens channel.
Yeah.
And sure enough, pull it up. There's the guy. Aliens.
Not saying aliens. Aliens.
Yeah, really. He even went to Switzerland and talked to Eric von Daniken, and I'm going, okay. You've already contradicted known history about 7 or 8 times. You can't use that particular thing as a unit of measure, despite what Han Solo says. Oh yeah, Giorgio, yeah. Um, Gravity doesn't work that way. Um, it's the price I pay for actually having an education. Or maybe it's because I actually did the homework. I don't know. This guy obviously missed out on kindergarten physics or whatever it was that they taught us there in Oak Ridge.
It's like every season, you can tell how much more glue he's sniffing just because of how further the hair gets.
Yeah.
Now, this is actually Ancient Aliens or another show like it.
It was in search of aliens, basically.
Oh, okay.
Didn't have the word ancient, but it's just they probably just accidentally left it off the title card.
I think the best show that guy was ever on is when Shatner did the interview with him.
Oh, yeah. It actually made me glad that I'm sure Stephanie never puts up with that kind of crap, because when you get her level of education, it probably hurts worse to hear that kind of vocalized ignorance, shall we say? But this guy was bound and determined to prove in this hour-long episode that the Nazis had invented a time machine. So
so you didn't see that post I made about time travel? I think it was yesterday.
I'll probably get it last week.
It showed how the Earth moved around the sun, but also how the sun moved around the galaxy.
Oh, is that the spiral? The entire solar system spiral at corkscrewing into the universe?
Yeah. You have to get the transference back in time to the nanometer of where it was in that point in time in the universe. Miss it by a millimeter and you're in a mountain or 10,000 feet in the air.
I get what you're saying, but I do have a problem with that particular animation. And it's a beautiful animation. It does show the motion of the planets around the sun really nicely, but it has the sun traveling through the Milky Way, North Pole first.
Maybe that's how Van Gogh saw it.
So instead of like this, when it ought to be pretty much in the plane of the ecliptic, but No, it's like a drill bit, forever going up, but up is supposed to be sideways. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Sounds very timey-wimey to me.
No, no, it's just somebody had the idea of a beautiful animation and got one tiny detail wrong. The animation was beautiful.
So
Direction of motion was entirely wrong.
back to
They
what you were
missed it
saying.
by 90 degrees, Dan. Come on.
No.
Yeah.
But what you were saying about this guy from this alien show, I used to watch Ancient Aliens when they first came out, and I think I might have gotten 2 seasons in just out of curiosity. And the problem with that show and many others like it, typically reality shows or how I call unreality shows, is that they aren't creative enough to keep making up things to justify another episode. And I didn't even get 6 to 7 episodes in this other reality show that's been out forever, but I've never seen it, so it's new to me. But it's called The Curse of Oak Island.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you know
quite
that
familiar
one,
with
Dan?
that one. Yep.
I've
known
been following
about that since the
How
60s or
crazy are they
70s.
getting?
I don't have the faintest idea.
Their crazy is what you call filler for when they've found not a damn thing on the island.
No, yeah. And then they call somebody in for their expert on the video call, and the expert is just like, who did they pull in off the street? I don't.
Some quack from England usually.
It's the whole premise. When I first heard about it, I thought, oh, this could be kind of interesting. This could be kind of a almost a Roanoke type, parallel and that. And I thought, okay, I'll watch this, and because I'm on an antenna, and which, by the way, I did put another section up on my antenna, another section of mast. And very briefly, I just want to tell you, it doesn't want to work. And I think it's the antenna. I think I'm just going to buy a regular outdoor digital antenna. But anyway, but I've been watching all this stuff on the Defy channel, which is kind of a reality network geared to men. It got counting cars and American Pickers and Pawn Stars and all these type of shows, but it's all kind of geared to men. And I'm sure there's probably a network one out there for women too. I'm not sure, and that's where this Curse of Oak Island was on, because Ice Road Truckers, I'm sorry, I got bored quick.
Yeah.
And Swamp.
You gotta drive really fast.
Yeah, Swamp People or whatever. Well, they were really making fun of women drivers a lot on that, and that I was slightly, even being, heterosexual male, I was still offended by what the premise with it. So I just stopped watching it. So, but Swamp People, how many lizards can you get? Big or small. And
Oak
it just
Island
got
used
over
to
and
be back when I first was made aware of it. It was a nice little historical mystery, and nobody took it seriously enough to actually bring in excavating equipment, and pretty much turn it into a money pit.
That's why it's called the money pit.
Yeah. If you got that kind of money to throw away, you might as well buy a boat.
And Shelley Long is not in one episode. I'm just so pissed.
Now they are doing some serious work in the excavation and finding a lot of stuff. They actually this year were doing some, test holes, pulled up wood from 100 something feet deep, and the endocrinology, I think that's what it's called, where they date wood.
Yeah.
Right.
This wood was cut in the 1400s. There's something at one
Yeah.
time there was some man-made something down there, but
But
I
now,
think
now they've churned up the ground so much, it might
you
as well
can't
be a
find.
bowl of mud pies.
Yeah,
And if they pull up stuff that's beneficial to archaeology and all that, that's great. Why, go make the show about that, or do a spin-off show, because this Curse of Oak Island show is just going down the stinker, and do the spin-off show, and then maybe,
well,
they might do
they are
better.
doing. These guys are financing other things,
Mm.
and one of the things they're financing is Curse of the Bermuda Triangle. Those two guys are behind that. Because of that, they found a piece of Challenger NASA thought was lost forever.
That one that they
Way
just
down,
found
yeah, way
recently.
downstream from where it should be.
Yeah.
Well, makes sense though. Water moves stuff around before it hits the bottom. There's some
And it's
hellacious currents underwater.
yeah, and it was a significant piece of Challenger.
I just like the whole. I'm sorry, I'm old school. I know it, but I like the whole idea of In Search Of, the best way, where they give you a little bit of information, they give you some of the urban legend and lore, and then they let you make your own decisions about it all. And then next week they go to something different.
Bill, there's a channel on YouTube called the Why Files. You'd probably enjoy a lot of those. Now the host, he does at first go into all of the woo-woo aspects of everything the topic covers, and then he'll go back and go, well, that's not quite the way this works. Here's the actual history. Here's the actual facts. Here's what everybody has been able to find in real historical records about the thing that we're talking about. Now, that doesn't mean that all the questions have been answered. It doesn't mean that it's all bunk, but the woo-woo is not the be-all and end-all of this particular topic. And then they'll go off to the next topic.
Is that Y as in WHY or the letter Y?
WHY.
Okay. All right.
Good question.
Making a note. So
there are a lot of episodes, and I've recently become aware that when he premieres a new one, he'll do like a 2-hour version with a question and answer session from the subscribers, and then you still have the 15 to 30 minute version that you can sit down that covers the entire thing.
The live stream, the big long hullabaloo, and then the Reader's Digest version, if you will.
Yeah.
Watcher's Digest, I guess, technically.
Yeah, it's basically it's an expanded version of the actual episode that is on there afterwards or available later. So now there's a lot of things that I can't sit through a 2-hour live stream of something, especially with the comments turned on, because it's just the screen never stops scrolling. It's too fast to read. There's thousands of people commenting, but the actual episodes themselves, they're um, he does his best to be as entertaining and as funny and as factual as possible. I think I highly recommend it for anybody that's kind of unsolved mysteries of various topics sort of fan.
It's got some interesting shows.
I just remember being a teenager in the 70s. I mean,
Watching Nimoy's
and
In Search of.
yeah, whether it be that, uh, I remember actually going to a movie theater to watch a documentary on Bigfoot, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but it would have came out probably 76, 77, kind of during the height of all that type of stuff. And Carl Ondano and I went to the Palace Theater next to the historic Fisher Theater, which the Fisher is still there.
Okay,
But
I hate to interrupt, but we're getting close to the end of the show.
Oh
Not
yeah.
not time to end it up now, but I have got to get out of here. I got to go take care of something. Dan, I hate to ask you this, but since you set up the show, could you go ahead and end it for us tonight?
I sure can. I sure can.
All right, but yeah, I got to run. I will talk with you guys later.
All
Happy
right.
Thanksgiving, Joe Dog.
Yeah, same to you guys. Good night. Yes,
Good
I
night, Joe
want to
Dog.
leave. Damn it! 3 times.
Fourth time's charm. There's something with StreamYard that before you could accidentally knock yourself out, and now it's like you're in regardless.
Yeah. Okay, Joe's got the outro clearly labeled, so we got that ready to go. And if I get away from the brand section and go back to the comments, I won't be able to get back here as quickly as I need to.
Right.
We've still got like 3 minutes, and because I've got to start Last Man Standing, I'm just going to have to hit the button on the high flight and let it run. I've got the Scarper, and I'll come back as soon as the music stops and end the channel. So if you want to hop over into Last Man, I think I put the link in the group chat on Messenger, so we can do that. And let me. Oh, I'm not even in the bloody studio for my show. Ill prepared, Daniel. Ill prepared.
You need to be in two places at one time, Dan. Haven't you learned to multitask yet?
I can do it, but I'm only at half power on both stations. So
I don't have enough power, Captain.
Oh. Besides, the universe can't handle two of me. They've already proved that.
Sorry, Chris Duhan. I can't do him quite as well as you.
Yes, Rich.
The Curies. Today I feel Qatari. Night, Carl.
They won't let you drink there, Curie. Well,
Good night, Carl. Oh dear. Yes. Well, these things, they happen. Okay, we are right down to 2 minutes till. That'll give me special time to do that. So thank y'all very much for being here. Hope to see you on the next show, and we will go for the video.
Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.